stream. My name is Nadia Jalali, and I'm the outreach coordinator here at Bridges. And we have with us Sheikh Affan Ahmed. He is a Houston based Islamic scholar, educator, and imam, and religious counselor. He holds a master's degree in Islamic studies after completing rigorous traditional seminary program focused on Quranic sciences, hadith, Islamic law, theology, and leadership. In addition to his Islamic studies, he earned a bachelor's degree in psychology and is currently completing his final year in education to better serve communities through teaching, mentorship, and counseling. He currently serves as an instructor and dean of Islamic academic affairs at Hamd Institute here in Houston, where he teaches Islamic sciences and works closely with students, families, and community members in the areas of education, spiritual development, and pastoral care. We're so happy to have you with us today.
Thank you for having me.
So, just a little background, how did you get involved with Hamd Institute here in Houston?
It's a very good question. So, when I first graduated from my Islamic seminary, I came back and I was an imam. And for those who don't know what imam is, basically is an Islamic, leader who serves in Muslim communities in many different ways in areas such as counseling, workshops, seminars, community, leading, um, youth coordinating, all of those different aspects can be involved with imam, right? With imam's responsibilities. So I was already an imam in the community for a couple of months, and then the founder of Hamd Institute reached out to me, and he was like, if you would like to be part of our organization, once you're part of it, you could be the dean of Islamic academic affairs, right? So there's two different things, right? Because the organization that I'm with right now is an Islamic school that teaches Islamic studies as well as the secular studies. So you have both studies. So my role is that I try to um, uh, make curriculum for the Islamic studies, not for the academics, in a way that incorporates Islamic ethics, Islamic values, as well as the modern values as well. So that's my role within the organization, and I took the offer, and I've been with them since the beginning.
Okay, that's great.
Hmm.
Good, I'm glad. I guess we can start taking questions now as they're
Yeah.
coming in. So, one of the main questions that we received was, what is Islam? What is
Hmm.
it for?
So the question is, what is Islam? So the way I would describe Islam is in few different ways. The first thing I would say, Islam is the chosen religion of Allah. What does the term Allah mean, or the word Allah mean? Allah is basically a word that we use for our God, for our Creator. So we believe Islam is the chosen religion of Allah, our God. And more so, it's not just a religion, it's basically a lifestyle. The way I like to put it, it's a worldview. The way we look at the world, the way we view the world, is not through the lens of other isms and other ways. We look at the world through the lens of our religion, that is Islam. That's one way of explaining Islam. The other way of explaining Islam is a religion of monotheism. We don't believe in polytheism. We believe in monotheism. We believe in one deity, one creator, one God, and we follow that God to to the T, how we say it in today's term, to the T. And whatever He has given us in terms of the guidance, in terms of the commands and prohibitions, we abide by it, and we believe we are following the religion of monotheism, and we Um, and those who follow it are called Muslims. So I have heard the term Islamists. I've met non-Muslims who have said, "Are you Islamists?" So Islamists in today's society is used in a derogatory term. But we're not Islamists. We're Muslims. So Islam is a religion, is a lifestyle, and those who follow that lifestyle is Muslim, is a Muslim.
We have another question come in. So we know that Islam and Christianity and Judaism overlap in some aspects. So one of the questions was, what does Islam think about Jesus?
It's a beautiful question. So let's just put it in this way. Uh, we believe our one of our credo points of our faith is that all the prophets who came before, we call them the people of the book, right? The the follower, the messengers that were sent to the people of the book. We believe in all the messengers. We believe in all the prophets. We believe there were 124,000 prophets slash messengers sent by God, by Allah, to this world to guide the humanity, to guide them to the right path, monotheism. Um, the final of them was Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. And the other two last prophets, slash messengers who were sent by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, were Prophet Jesus, we say it Isa, and then Prophet Moses, we call it Musa. These were you can say um, the other final prophets who came before Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. And uh, now the question is, how do we perceive Jesus, peace and blessings be upon him, Isa alayhi salam? We perceive him to be uh, one, the messenger of Allah, of God. He was sent to guide his nation, his group of people that he was sent to. And this is our belief that he is one of the messengers. He is obviously we have some theological differences between Christians and amongst ourselves as Muslims and Christians. I will not go into that discussion. I'll just keep it simple. We believe Jesus, peace and blessings be upon him, to be the prophet of Allah and nothing more than that, which is in itself a very high station in the eyes of Muslims and also in the eyes of Allah, our God.
Yes, of course. Good. So we know that the month of Ramadan passed. We had a couple of questions actually asking, why do Muslims fast in this month? As a non-Muslim, I would understand that it looks like a very rigorous form of worship, not eating or drinking anything, but still going on about with your day.
Mm. So why do Muslims fast?
Yes.
That's the question. Um, so as I so the first the question that I was asked was, what is Islam, right? One of the things I want to insert in the definition of Islam, the first definition of Islam I gave was it's a religion of it's the religion is a religion chosen by our God, Allah. Number two, um, it is a religion of monotheism. The third thing I want to add is this: it is a religion of submission of our wills, wants, desires, whatever you want to add, you can add it. Meaning, whatever we decide and we try to incorporate in our religion is secondary. The primary thing is, what did our God Allah say about our faith, about Islam, and whether it makes sense to us or not is a secondary question. That's what Muslim means, right? Muslim means a person who is subservient, who has submitted his wills and his wants to God, to Allah. So meaning, whether something makes sense to me or not, I'm going to follow it. Because there are a lot of things in today's society that doesn't make sense to us, but we're doing it. Similarly, if God, who is the all knowing, all wise, is telling us this is what you have to do, we do it. Now, going back to the question, why do we fast? The first thing is, it is a command of God, it is a command of Allah. He has told every single Muslim, every single abidant of Islam to fast for 29 days or 30 days. There's no ifs and buts to it, because we are subservient to Allah, we're submissive to Allah, we do it. The other, I can mention a lot of health benefits related to it, all of those things, but the simple answer should be that it is a command of our God, of Allah, hence we fast. um, I hope that answers the question, unless there's more.
No, that makes sense.
Okay.
That it is a form of worship.
Right.
Um, there's another topic that's going on locally in legislative areas about Sharia.
Okay.
So, what is Sharia?
It's a it's a
It's a
very,
very open-ended question, actually,
it is,
very broad.
it's a very broad question, and it's a very misunderstood question as well, or misunderstood term. The Sharia, the term that we use, the Sharia, the term that we're using, Muslims and non-Muslims, when we use the term, we sometimes don't grasp the real meaning of the word. So I want to break down the word a little more in detail, right? That's what education does, right? That's, I consider this as an Islamic 101 class for all of us, right? We're all learning it. We're just all just getting better. We're just all learning about another faith, or about our own faith, right? So let me just break it down. What does the term Sharia mean linguistically? Obviously, the word Sharia comes from an Arabic language, right? It's not English language. It's not a Hebrew language. It's an Arabic language. If you were to look up the word Sharia in the Arabic language, it means a place where you go and fetch water. Who
Oh,
usually goes and
interesting.
yeah? Who usually goes and fetches water? Person who's thirsty, person who needs it.
Hmm.
What does that mean? Sharia is basically a place where a Muslim goes and seeks uh, for his answers. He seeks for uh, to see he seeks solutions for his own issues and problems. If he has any situation in his life that he has no answer for, he goes to Sharia, meaning a place of water where he goes and fetches the answer. If that makes sense. Now, what does it mean in the from the Islamic law context? It means a code of law. It's a code of law, not penal code of law. There's two different things, okay? A lot of people think Muslims, and I believe some of the Muslims are also of the view that Sharia means a a penal code of law, meaning it's always about punishing someone, doing this to someone, harming someone. No, Sharia is a term that is used very broadly, and penal code of law is just one aspect of that code of law. If that makes sense, I'll give you an example. As Muslims, we pray. We pray 5 times a day. When we pray 5 times a day, one of the things we need to do is that we have to purify ourselves. There's two ways of purifying ourselves. One is through taking a shower, and number two is by making an ablution, right? In ablution, basically, there are some certain rituals you have to do is by washing your face, washing your hands, washing your feet, and there's more rituals to it, right? Now, Sharia is this concept. Sharia says if you are a Muslim and you want to pray, what is the code of law of praying? You have to make ablution. When you have made the ablution, what do you need to do after? You need to pray. Let's say I'm praying the morning prayer, which is 2 units. 2 units, meaning two different, um, um, I will just call it
Repetitions.
units. Repetition. Yeah, there we go. Two different repetitions. Um, So, in order for me to know what exactly I have to do in those two units, I have to know Sharia, meaning I have to know the code of law for praying. And then, hence, a Muslim knows how to pray. If you approach any Muslim, he will show you how to pray, or she will show you how to pray. And that comes from the Sharia, from the code of law. I'll give you one more example. I know I'm making it long, but it's really important to understand this because I don't want people to misunderstand the word Sharia, and I don't want them to think the Sharia means penal code or penal
Exactly.
law of punishing someone. That is one aspect of it, which I'm not going to discuss. I'm just going to keep it to a very simple example so they understand from a more practical lens. As a Muslim, I'm also told to fast. We talked about fasting, right? Ramadan.
Yes.
In fasting, what do we have to do? We have to avoid three things in our fast. Number one, no drinking. I have a water bottle here. I know it's empty, but I have a water bottle here. I cannot be drinking during the fasting time, which is from morning, from dawn to sunset. So I can't be drinking, I can't be eating, and number three, I cannot be engaging any conjugal relationship. Right? All these things have to be prevented during this time. Why do we have to prevent it? Because Sharia said. Sharia is basically a code of law that has been structured for us to follow, and hence we believe it came down from Allah, from our God, right? And it was passed down by the Prophet of that time. So for us, Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, right? So I hope this answers the question that what Sharia is. It's linguistically, it's a place where you go fetch water. Um, from Islamic law definition, it basically means code of law, and it does not just talk about penal code or penal law. It also speaks about our day-to-day rituals or day-to-day obligations that we have on ourselves as Muslims.
I think that's the thing, that when people hear the word law, they think judiciary.
Exactly.
But it is also just a way of life. How I'm supposed to sit, how I'm supposed to walk, talk to my parents, how I'm supposed to worship, the minor details of living your life as well.
Amazing. That's a very good way of putting it too.
Um, there was a lot of halal and haram questions where people were asking what's the difference. And especially living here in Houston, people probably see that halal sticker outside of restaurants and they're probably wondering, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
Is that
So,
some kind of food that I can eat as a non-Muslim? If I am allowed to come inside, not come inside?
I would actually recommend even the even people of other faiths and stuff to eat halal stuff, not because we're marketing, we're just basically showing
True.
how the way we do certain things. Uh, and I'll give you an example. But before I give the example, let me explain what halal and haram terms mean. So halal and haram terms are basically part of Sharia again. They uh, come from the code of law, right? Halal basically means lawful things. Haram means unlawful things. Now the question comes, how do we make things halal, meaning lawful, and how do we make things haram, which is unlawful? Simple answer. Again, it's Islam 101, or it's basically a Islam 101 course, right? What are we? We're Muslims.
Hmm.
Muslims follow the divine guidance of God, Allah. We're monotheists. We believe in oneness of God. We believe in His sovereignty. We believe in His authority. We believe in His commands. We believe in His prohibitions. So prohibitions and commands come from who? God, Allah. Allah is the one who has uh, imposed upon us, has commanded us to follow these two terms, halal and haram. Halal, lawful things; haram, unlawful things. So it's not something that every single Muslim will come and say, hey, you know what? Drinking this water bottle is haram on you. Or, hey, you know what? That burger that you're seeing in a halal restaurant, or this restaurant, or shrimp. Let's take an example of shrimp. Oh, it's the
Sure.
shrimp you see, it's haram on you. You don't decide. Muslims don't decide what is halal, what is haram. It's God who decides and His Messenger. For us, Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. Um, now the benefits of halal. I'll just get into this. Um, I'll give you one example. You know, the way, let's talk about the meat. That's one of the most frequent asked questions by Muslims and non-Muslims. What makes your meat so different from our meat? I'll give you the example of cow. Um, if you were to just go in today's time to a slaughterhouse, non-Muslim slaughterhouse, and you were to see how they slaughter the cow, you will see how aggressive it might look when they're slaughtering the cow. It could be um, the way they slaughter the cow. It could be a little harmful, could be a little difficult for the animal to bear. For us, in this case, it's the cow. Islam, on the other side, is telling us, look, when you want to slaughter the cow, there's a Sharia, there's a code of law you have to follow. There's a certain rules that you have to abide by. When you slaughter the cow, make sure you place it down. After placing it down, make sure the knife that you're using, again, here we have stunning. I know some animals are really aggressive and stuff, but think about this. Stunning an animal causes the whole body to be just it shakes the entire body. Now imagine the other the other way, which is our way. We're told place the cow down, bring the knife. Again, we're not talking about the vegetarians here. We're talking about those who eat meat.
The ones who eat meat.
Yes. So vegetarians respect your views and whatever you follow, but we're talking about those who eat the meat, right? When we slaughter the cow, we're told that we have to sharpen the knife. The reason why we sharpen the knife is because the sharp the sharper the knife is, the easier it is to cut the skin of the animal. Now, I just want you to think: stunning and slaughtering the cow with the knife. Tell me which one is less painful for the animal, right?
The one
God,
that would be quick.
yes, the one that is quick, that slaughters a cow quickly, and that is a knife. And that's why our Sharia, our code of law, tells us that an animal that dies through, maybe through stunning and stuff, it's not good for you to eat. Why? Because the pain it went through, the torture it went through. But if it was on the other side, it was slaughtered through a knife, and it was basically slaughtered with less pain. It is in a much better state than the other state. Again, this is where I'm bringing the halal and haram concept. I want you to think when you eat the animal, when you go and eat steaks. We have a lot of halal steaks here. We have a lot of other. We have steakhouse, your steak 48, Toral. I mean, I know all of these places. I want you to just go imagine when you're eating the steak. Imagine the pain that the cow went through before it came to how it is in front of you, right?
It's
So
true.
it's all about what is the most appropriate way, what is the most less painful way for the animal uh, to slaughter. And that's just one concept of halal. It just brings more, um, there's just more concern, more care, more consideration given to any aspect of our day to day life, whether it be eating, whether it be drinking, and any other things that you want to add. I just focus on eating and drinking because that's something that we do a lot more than other things.
That's true. There was another question actually related to Jesus, peace be upon him,
Mhm.
where they were asking, how does Islam view the Virgin Mary, so his mother? I think there are a couple of misconceptions that maybe we don't believe in the virgin birth, or we don't understand it, maybe we don't know of it.
Mhm. So, what is our view about Virgin Mary? This is how I will put it. Um, we respect, we honor, we will venerate, not in a godly fashion, rather in a righteously. Um, we respect and venerate Virgin Mary, not in terms of godly figure, but in terms of a righteous figure in our tradition. Why? Firstly, she was the servant of God. She was a servant of Allah. She was a very, very pious servant of Allah. Don't we shouldn't take the word servant in a wrong context. It just basically means a person who was was very subservient to God's commands and His wills and His prohibitions. So Virgin Mary, we call her Maryam in our language. Maryam, peace and blessings be upon her. She is venerated in our tradition, our rich tradition of Islam, to an extent that we have a chapter in the Quran. We have 30 chapters in our book. I don't think I have the book with me. Maybe I have the book. I don't know if it's wrong to bring, but I have this book here. This is basically the book that we read. It has 30 chapters. In one of the chapters, there's a whole subchapter given regarding Mary, peace and blessings upon her. Why? It is because we honor her, we respect her, we venerate her, not because we want to, rather because our God, Allah, has told us to honor her. Number two, she was a servant of God. Number two, she was also the mother of Jesus. Peace and blessings be upon him. Isa, peace and blessings be upon him. We do believe that she did not marry any man. She did not engage in any sort of conjugal relationship. She was a virgin woman who divinely was uh, was uh, was able to give birth divinely, meaning it was Allah, our God, Allah inspiring or commanding one of the angels um, to go and basically create a fetus in the stomach of our mother Virgin Mary, peace and blessings be upon her. So those are two important things to keep in mind. In our tradition, we respect her as a servant of God, and number two, we have a whole subchapter dedicated on her life. There's a whole passage in that subchapter regarding her, how she spoke, modest she was, when she spoke to the opposite gender, she was very respectful, very modest. All of those terms, all those good and positive terms, are attributed to our mother Mary, peace and blessings be upon her. And I can mention more things. It depends on the question how it is asked, but I think the question is, how do we view Mary, peace and blessings be upon her? We respect her, we honor her, and that's uh, part of our faith as well.
Clearly very honored, getting a whole chapter to herself.
Exactly,
It just shows the importance of just her being in our faith.
very true.
Since we're talking about family, um, one of the questions actually leads into that. What does Islam say about interacting with non Muslim friends or family? If someone converts or reverts, how do they now go about treating their family? How do they interact with them?
Right,
So on and so forth.
right. So we have a clear guidance, we have a clear command in our book that we follow, Quran, right? That I was speaking about just a few minutes ago. In that in this book, there in one of the chapters, the 21st chapter. In the 21st chapter, there are multiple sub chapters. There are multiple small little sub chapters, right? In one of the sub chapters, there's a whole story mentioned between a pious servant of Allah and his son. Um, and his father was giving him advice. Um, He was giving him advice. His son, again, we believe the servant that is mentioned in the subchapter is a Muslim, and his son is also Muslim. But I
Oh,
just want you to just imagine how this pious man is talking to his son and giving him advice regarding just the basic ethics, basic values, basic morals we're supposed to carry as Muslims in our midst, in our amongst our people, whether Muslims or not Muslims. One of the advices he gives is this. He says, if you have accepted Islam, I'm paraphrasing it. If you have accepted Islam and your parents are non-Muslims, the word um, that is mentioned is, um, I won't use the Arabic term. I want to stick to English. It says, even if your parents force you to become non-Muslim, right? Stay Muslim, but don't carry any sort of grudge or hatred against your parents who are telling you to convert back to Islam, back to the other faith. If you have accepted Islam and your parents are forcing you, they're forcing you to go and attribute partners with God, with Allah. Don't listen to them. It says clearly, don't listen to them, don't obey them. But look at this part, very beautiful advice. But respect them and deal with them in a very cordial manner. Meaning, when you meet them, smile at them. When you meet them and they need something from you, go ahead and give them. When they need a favor from you, go ahead and do it. When it comes to our basic values, do not put them down. Now, I want you to just think this man is a Muslim, is a pious man, Muslim man who's talking to his son and is giving him this advice, just a general advice. And this is mentioned in the book, in our book, Quran, right? So I just want you to think from this lens that when we as Muslims are interacting with non-Muslims, um, let's say you talked about in this case is a revert, a brother or a sister has just accepted Islam, and now she has to go back to her family, go back to his family. How does he or she interact? Again, we have a basic principle, basic Sharia. I'm going to use the word just to make us used to it, right?
That connection.
Basic, yes, basic law of ethics, basic law of morals. What is it? Smile at them, talk to them cordially, respect them, honor them. But again, when they tell you to turn back from your faith, in that case, you politely say, "I won't be doing this, but I will respect you and and honor you as my parents or as my uncle or as my family member." I hope that answers the question.
It really does. That parents, non-Muslim or Muslim, do not lose that right
Right, absolutely.
to like receive respect from their children.
Right, and shouldn't just be for parents.
Parents,
And
exactly.
even other non-Muslim, brethrens, or people,
Exactly.
right? Could be anyone. We have to show respect. This is our guideline. This is our guidance, or an instruction given to us in our holy book, Quran.
That's true. We have a little question. I hope you can answer. So there was someone who wrote in that if someone leaves the fold of Islam, they're excommunicated. How do we deal with that person now? So now we're seeing the other side, not as a revert having to deal with non Muslim parents and friends, but as a person who was a Muslim and has chosen a different path. How do Muslims around her or him deal with them now?
So if I'm right with the question is, uh, if a Muslim has, we use the word apostate, right? Has basically left the fold of Islam. How do we interact with him or her? Correct?
Yes.
Again, the basic principle remains the same. Basic instruction remains the same. Whether that person became, it was a revert, meaning Muslim revert, or he's a ex-Muslim. We call them apostate. In our tradition, we call them apostate. How do we interact with them? The principle does not change at all. You show respect to both sides, whether they're Muslim, uh, whether you're dealing with uh, non-Muslim, people, or a Muslim who was a Muslim. Now he's a revert. He's an ex-Muslim now. He's an apostate. There, the principle doesn't change. Yes, our interaction with them must be more reasonable, how we're interacting with them. And I want to add this because this is really important. When we are also interacting with ex-Muslims, meaning Muslims who have left the fold of Islam, they're apostates now. One of the things we're told to do as Muslims, that we're supposed to show them by our manners, by our actions, by our talks, by our education, by our literacy. I'm going to add a bunch of educational important
Yes, true.
important
That's
things.
important.
Why? Because we the part I'm going to mention is really important. When we are interacting with them, we have to show these apostates, these ex-Muslims, uh, that we love them. We still care about them, and when we care about them, we basically try to call them back towards the faith. Again, there's no force, there's no enforcement. We're not imposing things on them. Islam clearly tells us in the Quran, and this is an instruction of Allah, of our God, Creator. He says there is no compulsion in our faith, whether that person is a non-Muslim or is an apostate. It doesn't matter. There's no compulsion, but there is one thing: you always try to speak to them regarding your faith, regarding your religion, Islam, and maybe the apostate who has left the fold of Islam might come back, but you're not supposed to grab them by their collar or by their neck and say, "Hey, come back to the fold of Islam." No, we don't
Come to
do
the
that.
mosque, come
Yes,
pray again.
exactly.
No
You show
force.
them by, yes, you show them by your manners, by your actions, by your talk, by your good speech, and just by your morals, your values. And you always speak to them, give them, if they have any confusion, objections, or
True.
confusion about faith or doubts. You try to answer it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. We don't just push it down their throat.
Ultimately, I guess you leave it up to God.
Exactly.
That's true. Another person wrote in, how do you, I guess a general you, how do you feel about other religions? Do they seem valid to you? How do I, the person who asked the question said, how do I keep my mind truly open when I don't understand how other religions work?
Okay. So I think there's two
There's
parts to this
two
question.
parts to
Yeah.
it.
The first is, how do you view your religion?
How do you feel about other religions?
Okay, how do you feel about other religion? And the other question is, how do you know about how do you know if the other religions are wrong or right if you haven't studied them, right?
Right.
So the first question, how do you feel about other religion? Again, I'm gonna go back to the same principle we talked about. We are told as Muslims that we are to respect, and we are to respect every single faith out there. Number one. Number two, we do not mock other faiths. We do not taunt other people because they're following other faiths. And the other thing I want to add, I spoke about it before. Yes, we educate them about our faith, but we don't force it. Um, so again, if you ask my opinion, I have respect for every single faith out there, whether it be Hindu, whether it be people of the book, meaning Christians or Jews, or be uh, what else is out there? Buddhists,
Sikh,
I don't know,
Buddhist,
Buddhists, and
Sikh,
other faiths, right?
mm,
All right, even fire worshippers,
everyone.
Zoroastrians. We respect all of their faiths, right? We have nothing against them. We don't mock them. We don't make fun of them. I mean, I am a teacher. I'm an instructor. I'm an educator. So I have students. So I always tell them, my students in our seminary, that we are to respect every single faith. Doesn't matter what their faith is. We respect. We try to educate them, and we try to learn about their faiths too. Um, and this is my answer to the first question. The second question is, how can you be true to um, how what was the question again? How do I know your religion is true if you haven't studied other religion? If I'm phrasing it right,
It said, how do I keep my mind truly open when
how
I
do
don't understand how other religions work?
okay, how do I keep my
Keep my
mind
mind open.
yeah, keep my mind open if I don't know how other religions work? Again, I am a the way I say it, I am a person of education. I love education. I like educating myself. I like educating my community and my students. Right. So I always tell other Muslims and even myself that we shouldn't have any issues in learning about other faiths. But I always add this one caveat, one condition: you can only understand other faith once you have understood your own faith. If that makes sense. All right.
That does make
This is
sense. That's
not to
true.
say that we are very like full of ourselves. We're very self conceited. It doesn't make sense to me logically that how can I study other faiths if I haven't studied my own faith, right? So I tell myself, and I have studied, but personally speaking, I have looked into Hinduism. I've looked into Christianity. There's so many channels out there. There's so many scholars out there who speak about whether it be pastors or rabbis, Muslims who are basically experts of comparative religions and stuff, right? I've watched those videos and stuff, right? And same thing I tell my community, my Muslim community here in Houston, right? That keep your mind open. Keep your mind open about other faiths, but only do that when you have fully understood your own faith. I hope that answers the question,
No, it's
right?
very important.
Yeah.
That's what they say, right? It starts at home.
It
Once you know
starts
yourself, you know your morals and values, then you can start looking at others.
exactly. So if I
That's
don't know
true.
about my own faith, how can I study about other faiths? Obviously, it's a good thing to do, learning about other faiths, but you should know your own faith before you study other faiths.
I believe we'll just take one last question.
Mhm.
Um, I think you've kind of answered it in many ways, but we'll ask, do Muslims, Christians, and Jews worship the same God?
Good question. Okay, I teach theology. I teach Islamic theology. So
That's your forte.
yes, so I'll keep it. I'll be very considerate and at the same time very technical. Um, in a nutshell, we all believe in the same God, in the same God. Maybe we have different terms given to the God. Maybe have different um, beliefs regarding our God, right? That's a side discussion. But overall, as we us three people of the book believe in the same God, meaning Allah. Different terms, different names, different understanding, but our simple understanding of our God is that we believe in the same God. Um, but when it comes to the more technical stuff, there's a lot of theological differences between our faith as Muslims and Christian and the faith of Christians and also the faith of uh, Jews. I don't think I want to get into that. Plus, I will say this: I'm not too well versed about other faiths when it comes to Judaism or Christianity. I know there's a very core difference between our faith and their faith, and again, I could be told I'm wrong, but I'll just mention what I know from my own knowledge, right? Again, we spoke about from the beginning that Islam is a religion of peace, religion of monotheism. So one of the core differences we have in today's time when we look at these three faiths is the difference of monotheism and polytheism. What is our theistic belief? Theistic belief in God. Do we believe in polytheistic view or do we believe in monotheistic view? I think that should be the more technical side of this discussion,
Okay.
which I do not want to get into this, but we as Muslims, we believe in monotheistic view of God, meaning He is the only God worthy of worship. There's no second side of Him or third side of Him, right? We only believe He is one as He is. And I think Christians have their own belief, Jews have their own belief, which there could be a discussion of other time. But in a nutshell, we all believe in the same God. We believe in the same Creator. Just our definitions, our theological way of explaining the differences could be little different and more technical, inshallah. Hopefully.
Oh, that makes sense. There is another question. I know you said you didn't want to get political.
Oh man,
Could you give a brief answer?
sure. If
What
I
are some things that can unite Jews and Muslims, given the diversity of both faiths?
what is something that we can all unite?
What are
No
some things that unite Jews and Muslims?
humanity. We're all human beings.
What is succinct, very like good answer.
It's humanity.
That's true.
Again, You know what's going on, obviously politically, with whatever is happening around the globe. Um, um, whether it's happening with our faith or other faith or the other faiths, it doesn't matter to us. What mattered to us is what's happening with the people, right? With humanity out there, right?
Exactly.
So even if we carry theological differences, we carry political differences, we carry any other differences between us three as people of the book, but are we still human beings? Aren't we
True.
not just, don't we carry the same morals and values as just human beings? Forget about the faith. Just focus on yourself. As Muslims we're told, obviously Islam is the first way of defining yourself. But the other way of defining yourself is your humanistic, view, like who you are as a human being. So forget about you being a Jew, forget about you being a Christian, forget about you being a Muslim. Are we still not brethren? Are we still not brothers and sisters? And if you look at it from the other view, Muslim, brothers and sisters to each other. If you look at it from this lens, this will be the easiest way to unite all of us. I think it's just humanity. That's a simple way of putting it.
It's a very beautiful sentiment. That's true. At the end of the day, we're all human.
We're all human beings. Yes.
That's true. That should conclude our live stream. Thank you so much for being here and helping us carry forward, understanding and hope and friendship and service in the future. We
Yeah.
really appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Honestly, it was my first time formally sitting down and speaking to obviously Muslim and non-Muslim audiences, and I think it was really needed. All right, coming from a very traditional background, right? I think it's really important for non-Muslims to hear that we're not barbaric. We're not. I think these are the terms that we don't hear as much, but I personally have heard from, and obviously, as I told you, Imam being in the community, you hear this from youngsters. You hear it from community members coming and asking about what is our view about how who we are. Are we really barbaric? Are we fundamentalists? The term I used in the beginning. Are we Islamists? No, we're not. We're just Muslims. We
Islam.
spread peace and love, and and the common ground between all of us is just being a human, right? And and honestly, it was a great opportunity of being part for being part of this, great, endeavor and this great effort that Bridge is doing, and I'm glad that I'm part of it. Thank you for having me. Honestly,
Thank you. Right. You have a good evening.
you as well. Thank you.